Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of The Unconventional Outdoorsman. You know the title of the video and you can see what I'm holding in my hands. You're probably guessing what we're going over. But real quick before we get in today's video, please do me a huge favor and click that subscribe button if you haven't. It would help me out a lot, and you'd get to see all the videos that we post here on the channel. Along with that, click the notification bell, turn it to all notifications. That way you know I post every time I post a new video. Wow, words are tough and it's too early for this. So, this is the first rifle I learned how to shoot on. First gun, actually. This is the first gun I shot, then after this, I learned how to shoot shotguns on a single-barreled 20 gauge. It's a Marlin Model 60, 22 long rifle. Basic, nice walnut stock, Jesus. And a nice stainless steel barrel with a orange sight up in the front for good sight picture and low light. But yeah, it's a 22 long rifle. Those of you who don't know what a Marlin Model 60 is. It's semi-automatic, so that means basically if I'm aiming down at little squirrel, if there's a little squirrel, and I fire once, one bullet will come out. And I miss, I fire again, and I fire again, and I fire again. Each time I pull the trigger, one bullet comes out. So that is a semi-automatic. This is a great gun. For example, if you have young children and you want to get them into firearms, and you want to get them to know how to properly use them, properly maintain them, clean them, this would be a good viable option. So would be the Ruger 1022. This one is going to be more complex to take apart and put back together. Small children may not be able to do that. The Ruger 1022 is a lot easier in that fact. Basic roller coaster sights back here, nothing too special. The tube magazine, like I was talking about, you turn this and then you pull until you get that little bullet spot open where you can put your bullets in. It holds about 12 to 15 rounds of ammo. I only usually fill it up with 10 to 12 because if I load it all the way, it tends to jam a lot more, which if anybody doesn't know anything about 22 semi-autos, they jam a hell of a lot. Excuse my language, but so that is one of the downsides to this. One of the upsides about this gun, it's stainless steel, so it's never going to rust, or at least it shouldn't. If it does, I'll probably write to Marlin and have him send me a new one or whatever. But yeah, it's got a little, kind of like a precursor to a Picatinny rail up here, where you can put a little rimfire scope, which I do have for it. I started off with it on there, and that's what I learned to shoot with, but after I got into my personal collection after my father passed away, I decided, I'm going to take it off and go iron sights. It's got a long enough barrel. I'm very effective with iron sights with this, especially up to about 150, 160, which if you're taking shots on small game out to that range, you're doing pretty good for yourself, and as long as you can hit it. But besides that, there's really nothing too impressive. Obviously, it is clear. But real quick before we do that, had a bit of oil in there from the last time I cleaned it. So I'm just going to see how bad the trigger is. It's a very, how would I describe this trigger? I'm trying to think of something I can relate it to. The Ruger trigger is better than this, let's just say. This one has a lot of, it's a very short trigger, it's a very light trigger. Probably about, let me pull back the chamber again. So, as you can see, there's nothing in it, obviously. I've cleared it for you, but I'd say it's about 2 pounds of pullback, if that. And it's very creepy, a very creeping trigger. So it doesn't have a clean break. It's just slides, boom. So it's good for I'd say new shooters because they can be surprised by it. That's something when I was taught, when you're shooting, be surprised by the gun. Pull it back, because if you're anticipating, you've got the possibility to jerk the shot up, down, sideways, or up to Narnia somewhere. So it is something that I think is good with this in a way. Once you get a little bit older, it's kind of annoying because I'm more of I wouldn't call myself an expert with firearms by any means, but I'm more of a little bit of a connoisseur. I've collected them over, my lifetime, especially as of recent. I've shot a lot of different firearms. This one though, if this is the only 22 you can afford, even though these are about the same price as the Ruger 1022 now, certain states may not allow the 1022 because of the magazine capacity or whatever. That sucks for you guys, but this might be a viable option. You can pick these up in pawn shops and gun stores for $100, $150, depending on the condition of it. Something like this would go for $120, $150, depending on who you went to. Very basic. Something I should go over. The safety here, just right here. Push it This is safe, and then I push over here, fire. Something that I was taught as a kid, red means dead. Don't blow your head off, little Johnny. So, yeah, that is the first rifle I shot, or I learned how to shoot on. Well, I guess I should go over the story about how I learned to shoot. So it was 2006. I was 4.5 years old. So I was really young, and we were at my aunt and uncle's house down in the southern tip of Missouri, close to Arkansas. And my dad, obviously I was getting really into fishing. I loved always going out in the outdoors with my dad, and it was always a great time. So he got this and had the scope on it, obviously, and he showed me some safety, like, hey, Ethan, finger off the trigger, you stop. They showed me how to look at the sights and the scope and all that. I'm 4. I barely understand anything. I'm just doing exactly what my dad tells me. He shows me where the fire is and he says, keep it on safe. Keep it where there isn't any red until you get ready to fire. So I did that. And then so he gets me on, like, my uncle had these like metal barrel things. And I put it up on there, and he had a Coca-Cola can about 20 yards down. And so I said, Dad, can I shoot? After he was behind the firing line, so I aimed. I put it on fire, and I was like, for like 30 seconds trying to find my sight picture, and boom, I cracked that soda can in one shot, and forever was born an avid outdoorsman. So obviously that is how I got into firearms. That was my first introduction to them, and I've been in love ever since. They're an amazing tool for not only collecting food, self-defense, self-preservation. You learn a lot of responsibility when you have to take care of firearms. You learn a lot about what you're capable of, and you learn a lot of self-control. So yeah, that is my Marlin Model 60. It's the first gun I have ever shot, and this is the gun I learned how to shoot on. Thank you guys and gals so much for watching. Again, if you're still watching, click that subscribe button. I would really appreciate it, and I will see you all next time.